Good morning, and thank you for joining me, Krista, with Imagine That Scrapbooks and Gifts for our 4th ITTV Presents Try It Out Thursday. In today's ITTV Presents, we're going to be making this fun card using a gorgeous stamp by Penny Black, some stickles, some gray papers, a doily, and some twine. But before we get started on today's ITTV, I need to pick a winner from last week's video. And our random name selector has chosen Miss Carla Carter. Congratulations. If you'll please email us at imaginethatscrapbooks@yahoo.com to claim your prize, we'll make sure you get that. And if you want to win a prize, make sure you comment on this week's ITTV Presents on Facebook or on YouTube for your chance to get your name into the random name selector, and you could win a prize next week. Well, let's get started. Okay, so for today's card, we're going to be working with this really pretty Penny Black stamp, peacock feathers, and I'm going to stamp the image using the archival ink in the Jet Black by Ranger. So what I have here is my piece of pattern paper already cut. We're going to ink up our stamp. Now the one thing with stamping is you want to add your ink to your stamp, not your stamp to your ink. So we're going to make sure this is nice and inked up. And how you can tell a stamp is inked up if it stains like mine is when the whole thing is shiny. That means it's wet. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put our image on there. We're going to press. I like to give just even pressure. You don't need to push down on it or rock. You just need to make sure that you've got nice pressure all the way across the stamp, and then lift up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take our stickles. I am working with some different colors here. We've got some distress stickles and then some plain stickles. Now there are different types of stickles. In them there is the plain like these here. There's the Tim Holtz Distress, then there's Glitz Stickles and Ice Stickles. Now the difference is the regular stickles is going to be a smaller glitter glue that will actually make some really great lines and dimension. The Distress Stickles by Tim Holtz, first of all, matches all of the Distress line and colors, but it also does work best if it's spread out to kind of give you that distress look. The Glitz Stickles has more shine and glitter to it, and then the Ice Stickles is actually large chunks. Today, though, we're going to be working with the Distress and the regular stickles. Okay, the first one I'm going to start with is the Distress Stickles. So I'm going to apply a little bit just up here on my feather, and I'm going to actually just smear it out. So it just kind of gives us some of that stickles look right there. If you look at the Distress Stickles, if you were to draw a line with it, it's definitely a little bit more chunky. That's why that works really well when it's spread out like this here. Now, of course, my image isn't stamped perfectly, but that's okay because of the card that I'm doing. I'm really not focusing as much on the stamp as I am with the stickles. So now here I'm going to use a really pretty color, Aqua, and I like to get it started off first on my non-stick craft mat because this one I'm going to actually draw a line here. So you can see the difference of using the plain stickles as opposed to the Distress Stickles, because the Distress Stickles, like I said, works best if it's smeared out to kind of give you that distressed look. Okay, so there's a lot of different things you can do with the stickles. I could draw, for example, here I'm going to go down the peacock feathers. Let me start it off on my mat again. And I could just basically use my stamp as an outline and just start drawing with it. Or I could take one of my colors and add accents wherever I want. So if I wanted to take this piece here, get that started, and draw on the outline here, you can do just about anything with stickles. Now stickles is a glitter glue, so if I wanted to use this and then add more glitter to it, I can as well, because it is a glitter glue. So here we've got some different ways of using the stickles. So I'm going to set that off to the side and let it dry. What I have here is a couple different varieties that we've done. This one here, using that same stamp, we did one of the peacock feathers with the stickles, and then we stamped a sentiment over it, "It's a Beautiful Day." This one here is one that we did a little bit more realistic peacock feathers. We actually used the aqua, the turquoise, and then the distress shabby shutters in the center. And then this one here, we used the turquoise on the feathers here, the distressed shabby shutters. And then in the center, we used the cotton candy with a dab of the thistle. So that kind of just brightened up that color a little bit. So this is actually the one I'm going to use on my card, but I'm going to clean up my mat real quick. Some of that stickles off. Okay, so what I have here is a 5x7 pre-scored cut card. The inside, I'm letting the doily and everything be in there because I just thought that was a nice pretty touch. And this paper is by My Mind's Eye, so make sure you watch at the end of the video, of course, for our product list. So I have all of this cut, and we're going to use a edge punch here by Martha Stewart Crafts. We're going to give us a little bit of a decorative edge. Now, these punches are really easy to use because you just line them up with the silver part of the punch and literally just punch all the way across. And as you can see on this one here, I didn't quite get that edge, but that's okay because I can line up the punch on the opposite side and go ahead and finish off that punch there. So I'm gonna move that off to the side. All right. So I'm gonna add some adhesive if I hold my runner the right way. And center that right there on our card. Okay, and then I'm going to adhere this onto here, but we're going to also add some extra textures and dimensions. I'm going to use a doily and some other fun stuff. So I'm going to put my doily down. I'm going to play with my placement a little bit. And then I'm going to adhere this part down. Now, of course, this is already dried. It does take a little bit of time for the stickles to dry depending on how much you apply to your card. Or to your image, I mean. Okay, we're going to press that down. Alright, and then I'm going to use some floss just to add a little bit more color to it. Now when doing floss, the way I'm getting ready to do, there's a couple of different ways you can do. You can wrap your floss all the way around like so, but I kind of feel that's a little wasteful, and most of you that know me know I'm not normally a frugal scrapbooker, but I don't think I need to make the back edge pretty because nobody's going to see that. So I'm going to actually cheat, and I wrap mine just in the front. So I have just a zot down in the back, and we're going to wrap it around. Oh, and look, I happen to do it the same size. So we're going to cut some more of that off. And then because I did use a larger zot, I'm actually going to be able to wrap mine a couple of times. And instead of wasting that in the back now, I'm getting more out of my floss. And we're going to go ahead and wrap that a third time. Okay, so there I have my floss wrapped around my card. I'm going to spread it out a little. Doing it this way too actually allows you to have a little bit more flexibility with the floss because it's not wrapped around the entire thing. Okay, a lot of times with doing buttons and twine, I cheat. I do my twine and then do my button. I'm going to put a zot on the back of him. And we're going to set it onto the twine. So it looks like it's on there, but I didn't actually have to try to figure out the placement. Okay, so now we're going to put our entire panel onto our card. All right. And there you go. A fun stamped card using Stickles. We'll make sure to watch for more of our samples at the end of the video, and we hope you had fun.